research on the effects of bullying on young people and also the long-term effects and the development of its victims. Recent reports have concluded that approximately 65% of teenagers today have said that they have experienced online bullying or trolling, with the most common form being cruel posts commenting on the way someone is dressed or what they look like. 48% of those said it made them feel very upset. Over half of that 65% we've spoken of said that it was happening to them at least once a week. The anonymity permitted by certain forms of online social interaction can give the bullies a false impression that they can say anything they wish, no matter how hurtful, with little consequence for themselves or for the person they might have harmed. Children have the right to feel safe and secure, in particular when at school. At school, children are still developing and do not always have the wisdom to avoid cyberbullying or to seek out the best solutions or help for dealing with this issue. In October of this year, I contacted each post-primary school within my constituency and asked that every school identify 2 student representatives to sit on a forum to discuss cyberbullying. Attending that meeting was Dr. Arthur Cassidy, the PSNI, and the Community Safety Partnership, and some parents, and I want to thank them very much indeed for their help. I felt that it was essential to engage with young people to hear their views of how social media affects them both from a positive and negative angle. Many of the children I spoke with emphasised how difficult it can be to find help when they have been bullied or to get adults to listen to them. They said that many adults just do not understand social media and felt that more should be done to educate parents and teachers on cyberbullying. I have to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, I was very impressed at that forum with the openness of the young people that were there. I was hesitant when the forum was brought together because I didn't feel that they would open up in such a forum, but they did. And on that day, I made a commitment to those young people that I would do what I could as their Member of Parliament to urge the government to take whatever steps was needed to tackle this growing phenomenon. I am pleased to say that steps have already been taken within my constituency to address this problem. A workshop is scheduled to take place tomorrow evening, and the aim is to offer advice to parents who are concerned about keeping up to date with modern technology and what they can do to keep their children safe online. And I commend the Children and Young People's Strategic Partnership for their role in making this happen. We need to work together to eradicate cyberbullying. The venom that a cyberbully produces has been proven to leave long-term effects and makes the lives of victims miserable, and many victims succumb to anxiety, depression, and other stress-related disorders. The anonymity and protection of distance simply makes it easier to push boundaries, to provoke and taunt with practically no accountability at all. I will indeed give way.
Well, gentlemen, I congratulate him on bringing forward this very important subject, and I'm interested to hear about the progress he's making in his constituents with his schools. But isn't part of the problem a lack of confidence amongst parents of my generation, older and even younger generations, who lack the technological savviness to be able to tackle this problem head-on with their children? And schools have a responsibility not just to educate the children, but to educate the parents as to how to educate and look after their own children too.
I thank the honourable member for that intervention, and progress is being made. Our forum will meet again on the second week of January to have an update of how things are progressing, and hopefully we'll see more movement from the government on that, and from the Assembly, of course, in Northern Ireland as well. And I think the honourable member is correct. In today's society, talking is almost a thing of the past between parents and their children. They don't interact the way they used to, and parents do not understand, and I'm one of them. I grew up in a generation where I'm still a one-finger individual on an iPad, never mind a full computer. So, you know, there is a lot of education needs to be done, and I think my honourable friend from East Antrim has the same sort of education. Although he's an economist, but he has the same problem with computers with one finger. I'll give way. Yeah.
Thank you, member, for giving way. And can I assure him that I will never be cyber-bullied, because I do not have access to the means to be cyber-bullied, nor do I wish to. But what he has talked about the impact on pupils. Would he also accept that 1 in 10 teachers have indicated that they have been bullied on however you do this online, and indeed that affects their fears for their families and for their affects their teaching as well?
Yes, the honourable member is correct. It doesn't just affect children, it affects young adults and older folk as well. And I mentioned Dr. Cassidy. Dr. Cassidy, without going into too much detail, is in the mainland here at least once a year. He has to deal with this situation among TV personalities, those that are appearing currently on some of the hottest programmes that we see on a Saturday night to do with bullying. And he has to deal with that along with the BBC and UTV on that issue. So the honourable member is correct. And teachers, of course, they are abused by this as well. So it needs to be dealt with. But NICE tell us that 80,000 children in the United Kingdom are estimated to suffer from severe depression, including 8,000 children under the age of 10. We as a society need to take responsibility for both preventing such harmful and antisocial behaviour and dealing effectively with incidents of virtual violence when they occur. An integrated approach where we see government, schools, parents, internet service providers and charities all working together to keep our most vulnerable safe. I certainly will.
Thank you, Mandate Speaker. I thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. I was hoping to speak in this debate, but I'm simultaneously on a water bill committee at 2 o'clock and the health committee, so that'll be interesting. But I did want to raise with him on this issue of the responsibility of those who host some of these websites. A constituent of mine, 17-year-old Kira Lister, who came to me after a US website, littlegossip.com it was called. She had comments posted on there. We tried to raise the issue. We wrote to the Minister, who was very helpful, did all he could. We tried to raise it with the server providers and the hosts themselves, and response came there none. So he's absolutely right that, you know, whilst we can do a lot through schools, through education, through the government here, we need these people who host these websites to be far more responsible.
I couldn't agree with the honourable member more. They need to be brought to boot of how they operate, and they have to realise what it's doing to our young people today. There's no doubt about that. I will, yes.
The honourable gentleman giving way, and also I congratulate him and his party for bringing forward this debate. Just following on from that point raised, you know, I've seen constituents who've had a Twitter account, which is a fake Twitter account, set up on their behalf, and therefore, which is linked to bullying. They don't know what others are saying about them, but this account is being set up. So does he agree with me that there needs to be greater verification when somebody sets this account up, rather than an anonymous account, which never can be linked or traced, which is a key element which has to be dealt with?
Absolutely. The member is correct. There needs to be proper accountability. There needs to be due diligence when these Twitter sites or whatever site is being set up, because it is causing major difficulties for people in general, not just for children. A girl of 13 said, "It is worse being bullied over the internet because everyone can see it and makes you feel little and small and worthless. And as we have said, it doesn't all just affect children. Teenagers, a girl of 21 said this: "They would call me horrendous names, spreading rumours, and behind my back tell people to ignore me online. Other times they would add me to a big group conversation online and really dig into me. They also hacked into my account, and I was sent a really aggressive email from a group of girls." Another child said this: "I felt that no one understood what I was going through. I didn't know who was sending me these messages, and I felt powerless to know what to do." And in August of this year, the Prime Minister spoke out and said the people that operate these websites have got to step up to the plate and show some responsibility in the way that they run these websites. Well, can I say respectively, the government must too step up to the plate and impose strict regulations for internet service providers, social network sites and mobile phone networks to ensure that we eradicate it right from the root. And as the motion reads, to consider legislation, introducing legislation to make cyberbullying an offence. The Canadian government has already actively combating cyberbullying and have recently amended their Online Crime Act to bring it up to date with modern technology. While there is still, I understand, some controversy around the bill which they're bringing forward, with young activists and child psychologists voicing concerns that the public may be misled into thinking that this is what will deal with cyberbullying. They see it only as a partial approach. However, it is something to work on and something to build on. And I understand also that the Republic of Ireland are currently looking at their legislation to make cyberbullying a crime. The government today may recognise the impact of cyberbullying, but under UK legislation, there is not a specific law which makes cyberbullying illegal. Although it can be considered a criminal offence, I believe under legislation such as the Protection from Harassment Act and the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act, but there is no specific law dealing with cyberbullying. I will give way.
Thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. Would the honourable gentleman agree with me that there is that the term cyberbullying, and it is different cyberbullying than cyberstalking or trolling or other online offences, but it should be clearly defined by the government so that we can see where the boundaries of that behaviour lie, and so that we can change the behaviour of those people online, because many hide behind the anonymity of a computer and do things online that they wouldn't do to you or I or anybody else face to face.
Yeah, I would agree with the honourable member, and I think we need to define the whole issue, and I think there needs to be some kind of criminal offence in this, because those that receive sentencing in whatever shape or form or whatever, they get 17 or 18 weeks, it's nothing, and they're out again and they're reoffending, and it's a badge of honour, and something drastic needs to be done to eradicate all of this. We must now prioritise, I believe, the development of a strategy to educate both parents and children. There is absolutely no time to waste, because all the studies have been done, and each with very similar conclusions. Cyberbullying is a growing trend. It is not just a passing phase, it is growing dramatically. It is seriously damaging the self-esteem and future prospects of young people, and has a negative impact on their performance at school and their health. It is something that will continue to grow if we don't act fast. Work needs to be done to make the reporting of such hate crimes more accessible. Madam Deputy Speaker, in finishing, children, young people and the vulnerable need to know that when they require help, the support The supports are already in place for them. Adults need to be there to not only offer these supports, but also to be role models of respectable behaviour.